Hello, my miraculous friend. I'm so excited to introduce you to an amazing woman, Emma Stratton, who has been working with me for a little while. And Emma has been so gracious to be willing to share some of her experience because I know a lot of you're curious what it's like to work with me. You're curious what it is to magnify your miracles. And I thought it would be great if you could speak to somebody who's actually done it and done it in quite the miraculous way. So welcome, Emma. Yay.
Yay! Thank you, Francis. I'm so excited to chat and share my story because it's definitely working with you has been probably the biggest, most impactful work I've ever done in my life. So,
Wow. And you've
yeah,
actually done quite a bit of other work. I know you've
I
been,
have.
yeah.
Yeah, I have. So it's never ceases to amaze me, kind of the power of the work that we do. Yeah.
So let people know so they understand a little bit about you and the work that you're doing and kind of what you were looking for when you kind of reached out and said, hey, I wonder if this would work for me.
Yeah, so I am a consultant, a marketing consultant. I have a small boutique consultancy that helps software companies, tech startups with their positioning and messaging. So it's a piece of marketing. And I'd been doing it for about 4 years. And when you and I started talking, it was when the pandemic hit and things got a bit scary, right? Budgets were kind of freezing, and my whole family sort of relies on the business. It's a family business, and it was just at a place where I wanted to go bigger. I think, when I started my business, I had a vision of where I wanted to take it. I knew I wanted to do big things. And I had started to kind of dabble in the spiritual and self-development world. I'd done some mindset work. I've done some hypnosis. I started reading some spiritual books, understanding about law of attraction. And I was really intrigued about how, this realm, the spiritual realm, this place that we can't really see, how that could help me kind of grow in my business and achieve these bigger things that I've always known inside that I'm capable of, but it wasn't quite happening in the material world in the way I wanted it to. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was when we first started talking.
So you had been exposed to things like law of attraction, you'd been exposed to those things, but something was still like you didn't know exactly how to apply it or how you could really
Absolutely.
make it work for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think law of attraction is a perfect one. I think a lot of people can relate to this. It's very easy to understand the principles, to
Yeah.
buy into them, to believe them, to know them to be true. But then you try practicing it and you're like, okay, you're like trying the affirmations, you're
Yeah.
trying to forcing the visualizations that seem like out there. So I tried sort of like what it tells you to do, believe it, etc. Sometimes I'd fluke a thing, right? It would happen, but how do you manifest this future state that is so far from where you are today? I think it's very hard to do it. And so you can read it, you can read about all these things in the books, you can get that kind of theory, but how do you actually practically apply it? I think I was hitting up against a wall. So there's these juicy concepts that I was starting to understand and believe in, but how do you actually do it, right? How do you turn that book into reality in your life?
Yeah, especially when you have some beliefs that are like, am I making this up? Am I supposed to be a big player? Am I not supposed to be a big? Is this my imagination? And having that sense of uncertainty, I think, really slows the whole law of attraction process down.
Yeah.
So for you, that breakthrough point was what? You were working really hard when I met you. I know you were really like nose to the
Yeah.
grindstone. And then what happened?
So I think I've always worked hard in my business for a long time. It was just me doing everything. Then, of course, that was compounded by the pandemic. So lockdown happened. I have 3 young kids. My husband had just joined the business, but he had to be taken out to watch the kids. So now all of a sudden I'm doing everything. I've got the stress of like impending world disaster. Um, I don't have any support. I've got kids at home. What do I do? And everything just felt so hard. And business had was sort of drying up a bit because companies were putting a freeze on marketing at that time. And I remember there was this pivotal moment where finally I got an opportunity to pitch for a large piece of business with a very reputable software company. And I remember thinking, okay, this is the thing that's going to save me. Like, this is going to make everything okay. And I put everything into trying to get this business, and I didn't get it, you know. And I remember just being devastated. I was brought to tears, which is very odd because I never cried about not winning business before. And
Right.
I think it was like this hopeless, like, oh, you know, you try so hard and you don't get the outcome that you want. Why? Why can't I work my way out of this one?
Right. Right. Yeah. I remember that. And then we did your sacred life purpose session. You remember that?
I will never forget that.
And that's the so people know that's the session that I do when I'm working with people and I'm mentoring people. That's the one that tells you what your soul came here to embody, to experience, and to express. And it tells you about your archetypes and how you're really wired for miracles, how you're really wired to do your vision. So a lot of times we have this sense, but we don't, we're looking at everybody else and trying to do what they're doing, and instead of honoring ourselves. So when right after you had your sacred life purpose session, what was it that really shifted in your mind?
Yeah, I think the takeaway, there were many amazing takeaways. I will say the Sacred Life Purpose session, I went into it thinking, oh, this will be fun to
Right.
kind of see what, yeah, what, you know, kind of like a, you know, palm reading or something like that.
Right.
And it was so incredible. It's almost like what I found my purpose to be. It wasn't a surprise. It was this
Yeah.
confirmation of this inner knowing, like, oh, yeah, of course. And I think one of the biggest takeaways was that I'm wired for fun and lightness and exploration and play, which I knew. And but it's funny because you also have your conditioning from when how you were raised and what society tells you and what peers tell you, and what a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you is like, you got to hustle, you got to grind, you got to hustle, the hustle culture. And
Hmm.
so what I learned about myself is like, actually hustle is like anathema. It's like the opposite of what I should be doing. Hustle blocks my flow. Hustle
Exactly.
is not good. Hustle constricts. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, I've been doing nothing but hustling the past 4 years. And what I learned was that no, it's got to be light, it's got to be fun. And when it's fun, things will flow. So out of that, we decided, well, okay, how do we nurture my sense of fun? How do we honor it? How do we be playful? And a couple of my recipe for playfulness at the time was, you know, going for a run out in nature and spending a lot of time in my hot tub. So I was actually like spending more time in my hot tub during the day. And I honored this for a couple of days, and out of the blue, you know, this sort of amazing leading company got in touch and basically hired me for $10,000 to do this thing I wanted to offer. Just boom, just like that. And we called it the miraculous $10,000
Yep.
because I follow my recipe and
Yep.
money comes in. It's like I honor my energy and the money just comes in. And there are many times where it happened. I would be like, Francis, you know, someone called me up and said, can I give you $20,000? And you're like, it happened again. You were in the hot tub and then someone gave you
Yeah.
$20,000. And so it was like this, the ingredient or the instructions, like how to get in flow, to honor yourself and bring in more money. It was miraculous.
It was so miraculous. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, but I was like, wow, that's amazing. And what we saw, and I remember you saying like, are you sure? Because we were like, well, make sure that you have time on Monday, that it's just for you. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go in the hot tub. And are you sure? And then every time you let yourself play, 24 to 48 hours later, boom, you had some kind
Yes.
of manifestation.
Absolutely. It was, and yeah, you're right. At first, I was like, are you sure? Because I had been taught you got to work hard, you know, then you'll get
Yep.
some money in exchange for the hard work. So there was a leap of faith
Yeah.
that you have to take, but then the evidence showed up. And so I completely believe it now. I would never, I wouldn't doubt it for a second now.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing I'm so proud of you for is stepping into being this person. So you've, in a very short amount of time, I mean, it's like a year ago, you were doing everything. But because you got that validation in your sacred life purpose, not only about, the ease and the fun, but really about your vision that you're really here to be a leader. You're really here to be a thought leader. It's not just like your own personal wish. You saw that this is actually Spirit's plan for you. It's been really helping you step into that, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, so much. I mean, there's always been something inside me that has said, I want to be a famous author. Like ever since I was really little, that's always sort of been that dream that you feel is maybe not going to happen or too big, all those things the ego tells you. And it's just something that's always been there. And when I got that confirmation in my life purpose that that's really what I'm here for, is to be a leader, to be a voice, to, to be that thought leader, it was it was so exciting because first it felt validating. Second, I felt like spirit was on my side, which is huge. It's that sort of motivation. It's like, wow, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than
Mm-hmm.
my little fears. It's bigger than my silly ego trying to
Mm-hmm.
shoot it down. So it really fanned the flames of my belief. And so now that I understand what I'm here to do, it made it very clear that I had to make shifts in my business. I had to make shifts in the way I'm doing things so that I can honor that vision. So it really clarified, yes, this is what I'm here to do. Here's the impact I'm meant to make, and here's the changes I need to do in order to make that come true.
Yeah, and I've seen you do it. It's been amazing to watch you transform and transform your business as well, and just your reach is just expanding. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I remember you said it was about you said helped me see you're already this person, but you still have to step into the energy of being the leader, of the thought leader.
Yeah.
And at the time, yeah, and I did step into it, as each week was more and more of a stepping into it. And now when I look back, I've just completely, I have a following now. People know my name, etc. It started happening very quick. So it helps me understand that energy, it's about, you got to be it first, then it opens up. You got to take that step forward, to make it manifest in the material world, right? In the physical
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah. So what it sounds like to me is that you took this great knowledge that you had about law of attraction and all that, and now you know personally how to make it work. Now you know for you like how you're wired to dance. I call it dancing with the universe, and even your own intuition seems to really have, like, you trust it a lot more, and it's
Yes.
definitely your spiritual connection has just grown tremendously from what I've seen.
Absolutely. I mean, all of those things. I think you're right about the law of attraction. You gave me my personal recipe. So everyone's different. It's not a one size fits all law of attraction thing. You're right. You helped me see that it's so much more about energy and being in a good energy that's good for you, and recognizing it, honoring it, how to achieve it. So, that was really big. But also, I remember I said to you that I wanted to work with my intuition more. So I'm a creative. I do a lot of storytelling. I'm in the ideas business. And
Right.
I used to think that, so ego driven. Oh, I have to come up with the ideas. I've got to be the smartest person in the room. I've got to figure it out, blah, blah, blah. And you helped me see that, these ideas, they exist in a higher plane, and I'm a channel and I bring them through. And so now I work with the universe and with my intuition for my work to become more inspired. So now when I get an idea that quote unquote pops in my mind, I know it's a divine download, and I'm like, okay, let me write this down because it's significant. So it's actually made my work
Yeah.
easier and more fun to see it as a partnership. And you're right, I trust my intuition more. I know it's not just, me making up stuff or all these scripts I used to have. I now see it more for what it is, and I look forward to just continue developing that more and more.
Beautiful. And I would even say you've experienced miracles not just at work, but also even at home, being able to manifest the
Yes.
support at home. And in this really challenging year, you've really been able to do a lot of things to support yourself.
Yeah, the thing that I know I shared with you, and it's like I didn't share this with people because the year of the pandemic was actually like the best year of my life,
Right.
which is not something I was kind of trumpeting because a lot of people felt so much suffering and
Right.
went through a lot, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
understand.
minimize, yeah, what other people experience, but for me personally, the unsettledness of the world and my business is probably what drove me into the arms of this work. And what I discovered about myself and spirit and everything brought me just a great deal of comfort. It brought me support. It brought me abundance, and it was just a year I'll never forget.
Beautiful. Oh, Emma, I could talk to you forever. Are- I love talking to you so much. Are there any last things that if you wanted to share with somebody, if somebody's thinking like, I don't know, is Francis really the right person or is this the right type of work for me? Is there anything you would say to somebody who's thinking about it, like, you know, maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Any
Yeah,
thoughts that you might share with somebody?
I've got a few.
Okay.
The first is if it keeps popping in your head, like, should I work with Francis? That is your higher self and your soul saying, go work with Francis.
Yeah.
Because I knew Francis as a friend. We were friends. To be honest, I didn't totally understand the work that you did at first. I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't quite sure if it applied to me. But something in my mind kept saying like, what if I worked with Francis? Or I wonder what it's like, da 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 da. And I just couldn't ignore the voice after a while. I was like, all right, I'll try this because I keep thinking about it. So if you're thinking about it, that is your soul probably saying you need to explore this. Secondly, I would say I wasn't totally clear at first. I was like, I want business results. Is this going to get me business results? Because I need to justify the investment. And you said to me, well, what we do is you decide what you're looking to achieve, and then we will map a path to get you to that goal. And so my goal was, how can I grow my business in a way that's aligned with my soul's purpose? I mean, hello, who doesn't want that? That's a pretty big ask, actually.
Yeah.
Can I grow my business in a way that's wonderful? But that's what I asked. And you said, okay, and that's what we're going to do. And we did it. Like, the proof is in the pudding. So on so many levels, it worked on a business sense, the financial, please, I'm more than made up for this investment. I made my business grew by 50% last year, more than
Yeah.
paid for the investment. But even sort of how it made my own kind of inner life happier, things improved in my family life because of it, like with friends. It really improved all aspects of my life. So
Yeah.
there's the ROI, which it absolutely had in my business, but also just like the happiness ROI is well worth it. So if you're thinking about it, just do it. Francis is the real deal. I'm kind of like, I need to work with her for the rest of my life. Is that weird? That's how big the impact was. So that's the advice I'd give to
Oh,
anyone.
I love that. I love that happiness ROI. That's so
Yeah,
awesome. I got to use
happiness
that.
ROI.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so, so much, Emma. I so appreciate it. And it's just been my great joy and privilege to support you and to watch you just be the light that you are. And I'm so excited for the future and for the impact that you're going to have.
Yeah,
Thank you,
me
my
too.
friend.
Yeah, thank you. Bye,
Alrighty.
Francis.
Bye bye.